All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning back into Psych Word. You are now on the couch with Rob Gerard, and on the line right now we have former adult film star Bree Olson. Bree, you there?
Yes, hello.
How you doing, Bree?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. We're happy to have you on the show. People, myself, and listeners want to know, what has Bree Olson been up to since quitting the adult film industry?
Well, I actually lived in Indiana the entire time I was in the adult industry. I very much separated it from my real life, and my real life quote is I'm back home with my family and my friends. I even carried on, full-blown relationships and everything, and didn't talk about it with anyone, but everyone knew. But it was just kind of like, unspoken. So I'd go and be like, I'm going to work, and then I'd fly back home, 2 weeks later and be like, okay, I'm back now. And so I did that the whole time, and it wasn't until I left porn that I decided to move to Los Angeles and pursue acting. Because in porn, I was a big fish in, a very small pond. And being an actress in LA, it's like being the smallest fish in a huge ocean. So I really needed to be here to be able to be on calls for auditions, or, I also do theater groups. I take acting classes constantly, everything to constantly better myself and, just network as much as possible. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing the last 3 years. I perform live sketch comedy at Second City. I've been working on a comedy pilot that's produced by a woman. It's also written by a woman, so we're very excited about that. That's something new that we have going on. So, yeah.
Wow, you have been super, super busy, and you just rattled off so much stuff, and believe me, we are going to get to all of that because I know you've been up to a lot. How could you, walk away from making a lot of money and go into something to where you don't know if you're going to make any money as in acting? There's so many starving actors out there, and like you said, you were such a huge fish in a small pond.
Right. Thank you for acknowledging that. People don't realize the amount of money that porn stars make, and especially it was very comfortable for me. It was a comfortable place to be because, I was like Bree Olson, and everything was just, every job was being handed to me, feature dancing, everything around porn. The money was ridiculous, but there's obviously the downsides to porn. When I got in when I was 18, I didn't have anyone tell me this is going to affect the rest of your life. Like, I know you're young and dumb right now, and you just want to make money and have fun, and I'm a very sensual and sexual person, so I'm like, okay, why not take advantage of that? But I really honestly didn't think of the repercussions. And something that I've come to think of in this past year probably is that I don't regret doing porn. I regret not thinking of how others would treat me for the rest of my life for having done porn. And I really regret not thinking that through. Like, for example, I could never go on and be a school teacher. I could never go and be a nurse because of the, stigma obviously attached to being a porn star. And these companies are allowed to have morality clauses, especially, huge places like hospitals and everything. I mean, me, myself, if I was on the administrative board of a hospital, I wouldn't hire an ex-porn star if I have a choice of 2 people, little Becky from Kentucky that, went to grad school and blah, blah, blah. That girl, or an ex-porn star that went to school to be an RN, I would obviously choose little Becky from Kentucky, So, it's just something I hadn't thought of, and I really wanted more for myself, and I thought, okay, the sooner I get out of this, the better it's going to be for me in the long run. And when it comes to, dealing with the dealings for the rest of my life, because another thing is when you're in the adult industry, you're very segregated from real life. You only you have your very close bubble. Well, I guess everyone does. You have your bubble of your friends, your little network, and outside that, you don't really have to deal with the real world, like how people perceive you and everything, and the anger and the backlash that I got from the general public, and also just being here in LA, going to comedy theater and going to classes and everything, and dealing with, the whispers and the stares and the laughs. It's very difficult, I thought, especially here in thought it'd be a lot more accepting and easier, but it's really not. It's a lot to handle.
It's really like the pot calling the kettle black, right? With in LA, if they're doing the whispering.
Yeah, that's interesting, and obviously it's mostly women, which is really sad because, they think of me as an anti-feminist, and they think that they're being feminist by putting me down and what I've done. But being a true feminist would be empowering me and respecting me and what I chose to do with my body as a woman, and that I was able to make money and do it legally and, have a healthy outcome from everything. And they should be supportive of that. They shouldn't, rebel against me for something of that nature.
Now, let me ask you, you chose to stay with the name Bree Olson, even though you're trying to reinvent yourself, it sounds like. Why is that?
Unfortunately, the internet is in existence, and if you type in Rachel Oberlin, Bree Olson just pops up anyways. So anything, unless they went and just completely changed my name legally, which I could do, but then how long will it be before someone recognizes me? Because it only takes one person, to bring the whole thing down. Even if I were able to do it for a year, eventually someone's going to notice and say something, and they're going to put two and two together. So I really had to come to a point where I just said, I made my bed, now I have to lie in it. And so Bree Olson it is. This is who I am, and I have to embrace it. And like I said, there's hard times, but I just persevere. And, there's going to be the people that don't like me, but that's everyone. And yet sometimes obviously I have to deal with it more than other people do, than other women do, but I just have to work that much harder, and I'm willing to do that. I realized that the career choice that I had made, there's a reason that you get paid so much. It's a huge price to pay for the rest of your life. So.
I mean, just hearing you talk about it, you sound so accepting of what it is, and you sound confident. You sound like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it almost sounds like you feel like, what's meant to be is meant to be. I'm going to try my hardest, but I'm okay with it at the end of the day. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, my life, being Bree Olson, and when I was in the industry, and I had that insane amount of money coming in, and also just all the opportunities I had to travel all over the world. I've been to almost every continent, several countries. I've met the biggest celebrities, just you name it, anything of a luxurious lifestyle that people can imagine that the average person wants for, and that's their goal. It's like I've already had that. So that now that I've had that, I don't feel the trap that a lot of society feels that, I have to have the best car to be successful. I have to have the best house. I have to have this. I have to have that. And I realized, because I've had it all, I've seen it all, it doesn't matter. And that's why I was able to leave all that money behind. And it's like, I still live well. I'm not going to lie. I make a decent amount of money now. Nothing like before, but I still do really good. I live here in West Hollywood and, in a nice apartment or whatever. But, it's just, I don't feel that trap anymore. And if I had to go live in a tiny house, in the middle of the country somewhere, I could do that because I realized that the money, it truly does not buy happiness.
Was there a tipping point that made you say, you know what? Like, did you just wake up one day and say, I need to change my life? Or was it more of a slow progression?
So, the first year I was in the industry, it was really exciting for me. I was 18, 19. So, I was a teenager, and all the glitz and glamour, getting your photos taken and going to these exotic locations, and then, it was like a award show because, they hype it up and everything, and this is when it was still like a really huge deal. It's kind of died down since then, but, you put on your huge evening gown, and I was up for all these awards, and I I remember, like, it took, you know, the whole year, and I just worked my butt off. And so finally, I'm going there, and I get called, and, you know, they call my name that I won the award for Best New Starlet, which is such a huge deal. And, you know, especially coming from, like, my poverty-stricken, you know, childhood and everything, I'm just like, oh, my God, this is the most amazing moment of my life. And I get up there, and I realize that I'm holding an award for, like, having sex on camera. And it was, like, such a, like, just eye-opening moment for me, you know, like, even as a teenager. And as I'm looking out to the audience, and I'm giving this robotic speech, because I had just practiced it so much, so it came out of my mouth without me thinking. As I'm saying my speech, I'm looking out at these thousands of people, and I'm thinking, this means nothing. Like, what am I doing? And so from that point forward, it was just kind of like, okay, I still love sex, I still love money, but I don't love porn anymore. I don't love doing it, but I continue to do it because it's like, who really does like their job? Like, there's a small percentage of people that they really do get to do whatever they want. But I mean, I felt kind of just like most other people, like, well, what else am I going to do? I make so much money, and this is stable, and you know, it's a good career. I should keep it up. Everyone tells me to keep going, blah blah blah. So I did, and then I had dated Charlie Sheen, and you know, there was that whole thing, and we dated for a year, and he was the only guy that insisted that I did not do porn while I dated him, surprisingly, out of all the other guys were supported my career, whatever, everyone to each their own, whatever. But so I obliged, I went along with it, didn't do it, but I had every intention of going back.
That must have been a lot of media scrutiny, right? Because all of a sudden, I think that is what really made your name a household name outside of people that watch porn.
Yeah, it was definitely not something that was welcomed. I started dating Charlie just maybe a month before. Well, we were dating for a few months, but I didn't move in with him until about a month before he decided to get into it with, you know, the producers at 2.5 Men. So I was there, like, and I literally just watched it all unfold before my eyes. And as his girlfriend, I'm going to stick by him, but I was definitely like, you know, there were a lot of people around Charlie at that time, and I was definitely on the side of people that was like, no, chill out, just go back and do 2.5 Men. But, you know, Charlie does what he wants to do, and that's fine, whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of crazy publicity, which was totally unwarranted. If you look at any publication of anything, any interview I did after that, I've never sold Charlie out in any way. I've never said a bad word about the guy. Yeah, it was something really unexpected and weird. But yeah, after that whole thing, I was like, after I ended up leaving because it was just too much for me. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the cameras and the bad press, and it became very overwhelming. So I went and took a break in Indiana for a few months, and then I flew back to LA, and I'm like, okay, time to go back to porn. And I went to the testing center because, you know, the actors have to get tested once a month, the performers. So I went to go get my test, and as I'm sitting there in the waiting room, I'm like, you know what? What am I doing? I don't want to do this anymore. Because I had the break for a year, you know, of like being in the real world in a way, you know, not in the porn world all the time. And so having that break, I was able to really like look at it from, you know, far away. Like when you're in it, it's very hard to see the big picture, but being out, I was able to see the whole picture. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm done. And that was it.
Wow. Let me ask you, moving on from that, you began posting videos on YouTube, and you were doing like these little video blogs, right? It seems like you got away from them. You haven't posted one in almost a year, right?
Yeah, video blogs. So, you know, I really don't have any good excuses. So, okay, I said I'm extremely passionate about, and at the time when I was posting YouTube videos, I was a huge YouTuber, like, loved it. I was addicted to watching YouTube videos, and so I said, oh wow, I'm going to start making my own, and you know, because people, especially guys, ask me so many sex questions, which I'm like, well, actually, I'm a pretty good person to come to about this kind of thing. fun and funny, and that we even got the production value even higher. And by the end, you can go look at it. I'm sure you said so you must have seen it. But the last 2 or 3 of them, they were really cool and cut nice and everything. And then I don't know, we all kind of I was just like, we'll put it off, and then put it off, and put it off. And I've actually been talking with them about doing it again, so we'll see. I don't know yet.
Nice. Have you been able to find love?
Oh, gosh. I've been in a few relationships since then, and all of them were very accepting of my past, except for this last relationship I was in. He was very weirded out by it, and his family was very upset. And that's the first time I encountered it, and it was really, it still does bother me, because this was just a few months ago. So it was like a real slap in the face of reality of like, wow. But then I have to remind myself, like, no, Rachel, look at all the families and partners you had that were very accepting of your past, so don't let your mind go down that road. There's just going to be those people that no matter what, they just won't accept it. So,
do you own the website, the Bree Olson website?
Yeah, we're going through a whole bunch of transfers right now. It's bad.
Well, because it's not like you're hot, because it's on there, the Bree Olson stuff. It's like you have your PG stuff, your YouTube videos, and then you say, oh, by the way, if you want to look further into this, you can, and all your videos are there, right? So it's not like you're running from it.
No, not at all. And there's no hiding like who I am. Like, I would never try to do that, because like I said, we were talking about careers, eventually find out. So that would be even worse, is being in a relationship where everything's based on a lie. I mean, that's such a huge part of my life. I mean, being Bree Olson, that's a part of me. I wouldn't want to ever keep that from a partner, and it would honestly really hurt my feelings if I had a partner that wasn't confident enough, and where if he or she said to me, hey, we need to keep your past a secret from my friends and family. That would, I would definitely end the relationship.
Well, even just a...
need to be accepting of me. And also, I've been spoiled by plenty of people that are accepting and totally cool about it.
Definitely. Now, where does Bree Olson want to be? All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning back.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. LA has been really eye-opening for me. Growing up in Indiana, I didn't realize how much Indiana is still kind of stuck in the 50s. Just with all the thinking patterns and everything, by Indiana, success is measured by your marriage and how many kids you have. And, out here, it's like, it's measured by how much are you working, And so it's like, where do I fall in that spectrum? Do I want to get married? Do I even want to have kids anymore? Because, just up until a few years ago, I'm like, I need a husband and I need to have kids. But now, the more and more I'm here and, just being able to express myself artistically and really get to know myself, and now that I have the freedom that I haven't had kids or a husband, I'm just like, is that even what I want, or is that just what society always told me to do?
Yep.
I always thought there was going to be this husband to come and rescue me, and once he's here, the whole world's changed, and then we run off and have babies together. But that's actually kind of a terrifying thought. I don't want someone to make me run away and have babies.
And you know what? You bring up a good point, because people think of America as being America, but in reality, it's like different regions have different beliefs and different values, and it's all about, I think what it boils down to is it's all about you as a person. What do you want to do with your life? Don't try to compare yourself to others, and don't try to make others happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The most important thing, I heard it on the radio actually, if you had all the money in the world already and you could do anything what would you go do? And I'm not doing that. But my answer was, I would go live in Hawaii and just, like, have a farm.
Hawaii?
What I would do. Yeah, I would go, if I had all the money in the world, like, if I accomplished everything I ever wanted to accomplish, it was all finished, all the success, and now what did I want to do with all that? What I had all the freedoms in the world. I'd go live in Hawaii and have a farm.
I love it.
And it's like, I feel like everyone should think that way, you know, because it's like it goes full circle. And then at the very end, I feel like everyone at the end, you just want to chill. So why does it matter?
Listen, Bree, if you end up getting that farm in Hawaii, I will quit radio and come live with you and herd your sheep. I'll live out in the...
I don't know about sheep. I don't know. I don't even know what I'd have. Maybe I just have like a farm of cats. You know?
Of cats?
It doesn't have to be a traditional farm. It can be any kind.
You'd be like the craziest cat lady in Hawaii.
I'm so ready. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Well, Bree, thank you very much for coming on Psych Word. It was a pleasure to have you on the show, and it's. I would love to know where you're going to be 10 years from now. Really, I think there are great things in your future. You know, it's no one knows what though.
Yeah, exactly. Scary. Who knows? We'll see.
All right, Bree. Well, thank you very much for stopping by Psych Word. It was a pleasure having you on the show.